Hey guys, Walt Wagner here with Tactical Application Vehicles. We're going to do a little bit of a different walk around today, and today this one is on a trailer. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and specifically with a Mission Overland trailer. So this is Mission Overland Summit series trailer, and the reason I like this is I have a family of three with a dog, so four technically, but I ride mountain bikes a ton. We travel with different vehicles, but I wanted to find something that was off-road capable, but was very easy to use, easy to stow at home, and easy to deploy when you're at camp. It takes us up a small footprint, but with this particular camper, there wasn't quite a solution for carrying mountain bikes and things like that. So I wanted to be able to carry about two bikes, or maybe my daughter's small bike with us, but I'm working on a kind of a prototype setup with a fork mount on top of where you would typically carry gear. Like, this is all firewood that is underneath a tarp right here. So it's kind of messy looking because of the straps and things like that, because we are at camp and we are using this. But I wanted to show this in a real world scenario that someone would use instead of a staged showroom type scenario. So as you can see, the whole thing is completely covered in dust. I've got firewood under a tarp. I've got various stratchets and straps. But I wanted you to see how we have all of that and an alu box on the other side with all of our galley stuff underneath both of my bikes here. I've got them mounted with Rocky mounts, fork mounts that are bolted to the front of the box with the front wheel off, obviously. And then we work with front runner a lot, so I'm utilizing some of the front runner crossbars configured in a way that it's holding our solar panels and it's holding the straps that I'm using to secure the rear tire of the bike. So what's cool about this is you don't have to touch the bikes when you raise and lower the top of the camper. And you don't even have to raise and lower the top of the camper to get in it and use it. So this keeps your bikes right behind the truck without them being out of sight in the back of the trailer. I can actually see them in the rear view mirror, or if your camera comes on in the back of the vehicle, you can see the bikes here. So not only are they in sight, so when you're on the trail, the handlebars aren't sticking out much wider than the trailer is. So you can actually see where the grips of the handlebars are. So the idea was to still be able to have two bikes on this, all of our firewood or whatever other gear you would have for that particular trip, all within the same confines that you would if the bikes otherwise weren't there. So we are trying to offer this as more of like a TAV spec of these trailers. If you ride bikes, if you surf, whatever you do, if you have kayaks, we can set the roof of this camper up for how you would want it to be. And it is secure on the trail. I have these locked in place with a key. So if we go into a restaurant or a gas station, I don't have to worry about the bikes, being stolen or anything like that. This tire size is actually one of the smallest tire sizes that we would run on an off-road trailer. We would probably run all the way up to like a 37-inch tire. It depends on what the tow rig is. But a lot of which is not a problem. If you wanted to match your tire size to your tow rig, you can. But I think what helps a lot is keep the tire size proportionate for the trailer itself. So I personally would probably run a 35-inch tire on this trailer, because I have a truck that would have 37s on it, but my FJ40 has 35s. So if it would be proportionate for both vehicles to haul, but that tire would fit on the front here without being a problem, without any kind of articulation issues or anything like that, and getting too close to the truck or impeding where your bikes are mounted. And we can adjust the width of this as well. I know everybody's got a little bit different width on their handlebars and the bikes might touch, but we have the freedom of moving these kind of further apart or closer together if we need to. So that's one of the things that I wanted to kind of bring to the table for Mission Overland, is how we're going to securely store mountain bikes on this. There are other trailer, like the Trail Dog, you can literally put them inside the trailer, which is pretty nice, but it's a totally different design. So for the Summit series trailer, this is kind of what we're going with at the moment. Kind of moving right around to the side here, one of the other things that about this walk around I want to showcase, just things I like. There's a lot of informational things, and I'll try to cover those things, but I want to touch on the key things that I personally like about the functionality of this. And the cool part about it is, in that nose box right there, we've got a really nice sized Truma fridge. And we work with Dometic a lot, but this particular Truma fridge is spec'd from Mission Overland, and you can change this lid to, it's reversible. So you can take this off, spin it around, and open it the other way if you wanted to. But I'll get into that part a little bit later. I like it to where we can access stuff on this side. It's a fridge and freezer. So the baskets that lift out, this is on the fridge side. You'll just lift that out and set it on a table, and you have independent control. So this side here, with the being a freezer, you also have another basket that opens up here, but there's a partition here that you can just lift straight up, and you can make both of these parts a freezer or a fridge. So you can have a massive freezer here if you wanted to, or just a fridge. And if you have longer items, you could just take all of this out and just place everything down inside it, almost like a deep freezer. And then you can literally just turn it on, leave it on, but then it slides right into place, out of the way. It's always there, it's always on, and can be locked into place. And that's as simple as it gets. It doesn't get any easier than that. Pull over on the side of the road and you want to grab a cold drink, you just open that up and you can grab one right out of the fridge like it's no big deal. But what that does is it also gives you any weight that is forward of the axle of the trailer. So it's splitting the weight, it's putting weight where you want it in the front of the trailer. It's not super heavy, but it does, any weight that you would have is forward of the axle, which is a huge thing for us when it comes to building trucks. So we typically, when we get to camp, we'll leave that out. Unless it's in direct sunlight, then we'll just push it in. So since it's getting dark out, I wanted to kick on the lights so you can actually see what the outside lights look like. So if you're out here going to be cooking, how you're going to cook is this quick disconnect gas line. So this quick disconnect gas line just stows right up underneath your stove and your sink here inside this slide out. And you can take it out, run it underneath, and hook it up to your 11-pound. It just runs right under here. This is your quick connect right here. Plug it right into that. And that goes to your 11-pound propane tank right there on the driver's side. So when you're driving down the road, obviously this isn't going to be sticking out the side. You just disconnect that, stick it right in right there, and then you can slide this whole thing straight into the trailer. The cool thing too is there's a drain hose under here for your sink. So we have hot water right here. There's a electric pump. That water is actually gets pretty freaking hot. It's hot enough to burn you, and it's steaming hot water. So you can just push that down, and you also have a cabinet. So it's a little Dometic sink. You have a Dometic 2-burner stove here. So this stove, you know, it has a windbreak right here. You can set this up. 2 burners. It just, you know, prime it and then spark it off. And you can, we usually cook with a griddle or like frying pan or something like that. And it's a nice little, just a little counter space. There's a lot of storage right under here too. So if you look, you can keep paper towels. We keep paper towels, cookware, things like that in there. The only thing you have to do to close that up is pull your drain hose up and then slide that straight in and close the cabinet. And everything is just completely out of the way. It's super easy to deal with. And it's really easy to clean too. Just being out here, it's easy to clean. And I personally like to cook outside, because if we cook bacon or anything like that, you don't have any kind of splatter or anything on the inside of the camper or any kind of residual smoke. So everything is just kind of handled out here and kind of easy to hose off and deal with. This fender actually makes a pretty good table. So we will set some stuff up. I've actually had something cooking here, and I had a little camp stove here cooking something on the fender. You don't want to get too close to this with the lid, you know, of the grill, because this is vinyl wrapped and you don't want to heat that up. But I've never had an issue with cooking here with some sort of like a guard or a backsplash against that. So you can cook in both areas. We have a little camp table we set to the side, so you can have a full kitchen spread right here underneath the awning. And this is one of the little lights that I was talking about. So this is the switch from the inside that you can turn on, and you can kind of see how much it lights up out here. It lights up your whole kitchen area. And like anything, this is just what's hard mounted to the trailer. You can set up your own little lights any way you want. So you know, that's this is kind of like your galley and your kitchen cooking area out here, utility area on the passenger side of the trailer. All right, so on the driver's side of the trailer, moving front to back, I'm going to kind of show you how I'm using this right now and how we kind of want to build some things out. This forward compartment is on the other side of the fridge, so the fridge, when it's pushed in, comes to the other side of this cabinet. But there's plenty of room here because this is actually where your battery is stored. So when you open this, that'll slide all the way open. Your battery is actually right here, your battery box. We have a charge controller on the outside from the Zamp solar panels we're using. But you can see I've got plenty of room for tool bags. I've got tool rolls right here sitting on top of it. And, you know, camp tools, a little impact. This is my tool cabinet, and there's plenty of room for more tools than you really could want to carry. You can put anything you want to in here, obviously, but again, weight transfer, tools are heavy. I keep tools kind of further forward to add to the tongue weight without unloading the tongue. We want to keep the tongue quite a bit heavier than the back of the trailer. That's why the bikes aren't on the back, firewood, everything's on the front here. The trailer just handles so much better on the trail and down the road when you have a little bit more weight on the tongue. So I keep the heavier stuff right here, and it's easy to get to. It's a big opening, very large opening. Like this axe is full-size axe. You know, I've just got it sitting right here next to my 1/2-inch impact. If I need to change a tire or something, it's all right here and easy to get to. And then it just closes and locks, so you don't have to worry about anybody trying to walk off with your tools, you know, when you're inside a gas station or something. And it's out of the way inside a heavy duty cabinet. Moving straight back from that, this is where the other side of where your galley slides in. So it's on a slide. So your stove and your sink and everything all slides in, and it occupies a space too. But there's more space left on this side to where you can just open it up. I keep my riding gear in here. My daughter's helmet, my hydration pack, rain gear, helmet, all my riding gear sits right here, easy to get to. If it's dirty and nasty, it doesn't matter. It's right next to the shower. This is a hot shower right here. You just plug right into this, and the shower cube is right here. Just comes right out over the fender, and you can take a hot shower right here at camp. About 25 gallons of water on board, water pump, water heater, Truma hot combi, hot water heater. Really nice setup. And it's all right here. So if you got to spray your riding gear off, you can. You spray your bike off, you can. You know, it's just it's a sportsman's kind of little dream little place to camp. You know, if you know, because you can unhook from it and go take your truck into town if you need to, run get groceries, whatever you want, and then leave your camp secure, your trailer secure to camp. Everything locked up. You don't really have to even worry about it. So this stuff right out here, these fittings and stuff right here, this is where you fill your fresh water. You literally can just fill it right here with a you know, garden hose. This is the exhaust for your water heater and your propane heat from the inside, your hot air in the inside. And this is actually set up for a portable air conditioner. So if you have like a zero breeze or something like that set on the fender here, you can run the cool air hose right into this, and there's a vent on the inside that blows cold air into the camper. So if you wanted AC, you can do it that way. You can also do AC on the roof. There's a couple different AC units you can use, but that's what this little fitting is actually for. And this right here is for your 30 amp plug. So if you're at a campground or something like that, you can plug right into this if you have the proper charge controller and things like that. But that's all stuff that we would be putting together, because we would supply the batteries, we would supply the solar, we would supply a lot of these other things. And we're going to be putting together a TAV spec kit that's going to be the same for all of these. And we can get a lot of battery power, because a lot of people like to use Starlink and things that do draw a lot of power. So we want to have a lot of solar that can help with that if you are off grid. But we want to have quality batteries as well. So we have enough room in there to double or triple stack lithium batteries, things like that. So we can get a great deal of battery and solar power in this small package. And we're working on how we're going to spec that out. That's kind of to be determined so far. But that's why we have this trailer, because we want to see what we can maximize with such a small platform in its functionality for the end user. Okay guys, so now we're on the inside of the camper in the Mission Overland trailer. And I wanted to kind of show you kind of how spacious it is for such a small package. When you look at it from the outside, you may not think there's this much room in here. But as you can see, I'm sitting here at a table, one of the Langoon tables, and we've got enough room for three people at least, you know, 3 or 4 people. If you've got 2 small kids or something, you can sit here and have dinner if it's nasty outside. But you can kind of see, like, we just roll the bedding up, like we just fold it over and push it up against a forward bulkhead. So like if you just want to sit in here and read or something, you can kind of just kick back and lay back, way back. You know, like there's actually reading lamps in behind the corners here. So, you know, kick back, two people could comfortably lay back up on the bench with a table out still. And this is the cushion that would lay down on top of this when it's in the full bed mode. So, you know, if you're in living room mode, you know, and you're gonna have dinner or whatever, you can kind of see how, you know, how much room there is in here. But then, you know, to kind of make it a little bit more modular, this thing just slides right out of the way, or just rolls right out of the way. You can lift it out of the way as well. Under one cushion here, you can just kind of move the cushions however you want. There's a really spacious cabinet here. I have a duffel bag. My wife's duffel bag is right here, full of all of her clothes. My duffel bag is directly below that, and we have shoes, and we actually have more room. We can fit more stuff in here. And the other one, this one is actually empty right now on the other side. So I can, and where I'm sitting right here, there is, you can lift this cushion up, and there's two access cabinets lids right here, but that's where the heater is, in the water, hot water heater. So there's actually more storage right here we haven't even touched. Like, we don't even really use this. We have excess storage inside this. So there's a little hatch here. There's another one right here on the other side, completely empty. So there's see if I can get the camera in there, but you can see that's an entirely empty cabinet right there. And there's 3 of us camping out of this camper right now. And so with this cushion down, and then this table is very easy to remove. And I can kind of just show you how that works. So the Langoon tables are pretty neat. You've probably seen them in a lot of other campers, but they have these little clamps that you can spin, and you pull out. It's spring loaded. You pull out, you can rotate it, and then it pushes back in, and then you can just rotate it again, and that unscrews it and makes it so you can just lift it off like that. And then this arm comes off like that, and then this one comes off straight off, and then we set these here just like that. The table sets down on these tracks like that. This cushion just lays here, and then we actually have another mattress pad that we fold down on top of this. Now you can go to sleep. So it's just super simple. If it's rainy outside or gross or whatever, you can convert it from a living room to a bed, queen size bed, roughly, you know, double size bed, pretty quickly. Your interface for your stereo and everything's right here. It's Bluetooth. It's actually pretty cool. You can kind of keep it kind of low in that camp. You can kind of hear it outside really nice. Your heater and everything interface, your Trimacombi is right here. So that's where your hot water heater is, and your heat, you know, on a thermostat inside the camper. You have 3 vents that the heat comes out of, 2 here, 1 on either side, and then 1 in the middle. And carbon monoxide detector, smoke detector. I mean, you've got pretty much everything you need inside here. The cabinetry for storage, your main storage area, is right at the doorway. So it's really, this one is actually really handy. It's just a Velcro triangular corner here. We've just got a bunch of random things like the screens for the door. You can have a zippered screen that just Velcros right into the door, so you can leave the door open. And if you have a lot of bugs, usually on the East Coast you have a lot of bugs and stuff, so if you have a light on the inside, you'll have bugs come in. But we've just got dishwasher soap if we're gonna go to a campground or something, you know, just little things like that, just odds and ends, little first aid kit. We keep that in the bottom one here because you're not accessing it all the time, but the stuff you would access a bunch, you can keep in here, like towels, lights, you know, things like that, a hammock. This one is kind of like some condiments, dry food, stuff like that, just some simple things to get to, you know, stuff that you would access kind of a lot. Here's where we keep our cutlery. You got a cutlery tray. We just buy just a random little tray, keep our normal stuff in here, some bread stuff so it doesn't get crushed, you know. And this stuff, if you can imagine a trailer, it bounces a lot. This stuff all stays in place, like your plates and bowls and things like that. Everything kind of stays in place. It's easy to grab from the outside, and you can grab it from the inside if you're already in here. And On top of these, you have a small little shelf on both sides. So got a little shaving kit here, sunglasses, usually put my pistol up here, stuff like that, you know, at night. And then we've got this super cool little fan that we carry. It's just like a little battery powered fan. This is actually pretty sick. So you can just, you know, have this up here, because when you have the heat blowing out on this end, you can move the air inside the camper with something like this, and it pushes the warm air towards you if your head is towards the forward portion of the camper. You can sleep either way, obviously, but we like to put our heads that way because you got a reading lamp on that side, on that end, and then you can just sit up and you can, you know, just have your shoes and stuff sitting right here. You can also put like a little porta potty under here, so you don't actually have to get out of the camper at night. You know, if you want to just slide that out, you can use that and then slide it back into place. Other than that, I mean, you can see I'm 5'7", so you can kind of see, you know, how tall it is over your head. You've got another fan right here, which is actually on a remote. This thing moves a ton of air. It's a great fan, so you can pretty much just hit your button, and then, you know, your power button, it pulls air out, or it'll pull air in if you want. So you can actually, with your screens on the sides, you can open those screens up and you can circulate air at night. And on both sides of the bed, you actually have the blackout screens that you see, the curtain. There's also a regular screen, but then there's a window that you can push open. So you can open that all the way up and pass your hand through if you needed to. So if you need to get out of this thing without going through the door, you could go out either window and just push it open and get out. And then you can obviously operate that from the fan itself. There's a fire extinguisher in here. The lighting is actually pretty cool. The lighting that you see on right now is just on a switch right by the door. And you've got a 12-volt outlet. You got some USB plugs there. The Trumacombi is right above it. So this is your interior lighting right here. You've got your outside lights. If you hit that, there's lights on either side of the camper, and those are on the outside. So you can hit that. And then you've got your water pump. So that's for your sink or your shower if you wanted to take a shower. And then you've got a couple blanks right here. So if you wanted to hook something else up, you could right here. Some USBs and stuff like that. So it's like kind of everything you would just need for a good shelter at camp. And the cool thing is, you know, like I said earlier, this is kind of a little bit of a different walk around. Like there's several walk around videos on this Mission trailer that kind of go through all of the different systems, but I really wanted to hit on some of the things that I personally liked about this and why I was excited to work with Mission Overland, because we're experimenting with a couple things like a bike rack mount and how we're doing solar and the batteries and things like that. So it's just key things. Like we camped in Monument Valley after Overland Expo West, and it was on the top of Monument Valley, so it was super windy. Well, any soft-sided tent in the wind, you're going to hear it. It doesn't matter whose it is, unless it's extremely taut. Then you probably won't hear it. But I was able to just reach up. There's one support bar right here that you really don't even need to use. This bar right here, you don't even have to use it. Like you can just pull this little tiny pin and pull this bar out and stow it right here. And you can see the camper didn't even move. So you can camp in this thing just like it is. But if it's super windy, you can pull this handle down and you can see the top. This is where the top of the camper stops, is right here. So you can still sleep in this thing. You can stealth camp in this and nobody would even know you're in it. So I just pulled that down, and you couldn't even tell the wind was blowing because I was on the jacks. So the trailer didn't move either. So it was incredibly windy, but without any noise from the tent or the wind moving the camper from the tent, just because it's a little bit bigger profile, you can pull this thing down and you have from here to here living space. So a couple could still lay down and sleep inside this, and you wouldn't even know anybody's in here. So I thought that was like a killer like option to have. It's just a flexibility thing. So if it's really rainy outside or whatever and snowy or whatever, you don't want to open anything up. You can just go get right in the door, have your bed already made, and just lay down and go to sleep just for a few hours, or if you wanted to, or just camp that way. But I just thought that was kind of a neat feature, because on the outside it's just 2 clips and you push it up and it's campus set basically. So just a neat feature that I personally like. And then getting in and out of it's super easy. You just got your step, you know. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm I'm kind of a sucker for something that is very multifaceted and super easy to deal with, and I get it. More creature comforts that you want may take a little bit more setup time and takedown time, but honestly, it's not a race. It kind of depends on how it works for your use case scenario and what that particular package offers. What we can kind of bring to the table, I like the stock unit of the Mission Overland trailers, and it's it's as a base model, it's killer. It's awesome. There's things that we can do for TAV as what we like to see in other vehicles. We like to match it to, like this being a trailer, we can match it to the towing vehicle, matching wheel and tire size. There are fairly simple things we can do the suspension on this to match your wheel and tire size. Your wheels are easy to match, tire size, and it doesn't have to be like if you're running a 37 on your tow rig, you don't have to have a 37 on this, even though it can be done. The trailer can support itself. It's got a spare on the front, so you can run, say, 35s on this and just have three of them if you're running 37s on your tow rig. But this, we can tailor the wrap to what your tow rig is or the color, whatever those things are, we can do. We are kind of trying to put together like a TAV spec Mission trailer, whether it's the Trail Dog or the Summit. This is the Summit. The Trail Dog is also another really cool unit I'd love to get my hands on, because you can set that up totally different. That's a kind of a blank canvas as well. But on this one, we put some ZAMP solar panels on here. We put our own batteries in here. We're working with different configurations of that for power input from solar to the batteries, and then batteries themselves. We haven't come up with one that we really are going to go with hardcore just yet. We are going to find one that is a standard for us. We're just in testing phase for that right now. So that's what this trailer is for us for the time being. But, you know, like with the exterior, it kind of looks messy up front right now, but we've got a prototype kind of set up configuration for hauling mountain bikes. I'm going to be doing some riding this week, so I'm testing this thing on the trail with bikes on it, and we will be living out of it for a few days, and then getting bikes on and off of it. So far, it's been working out killer. I really like it. You don't have to worry about your bikes being back behind it where you can't see them. They're down low in front of the camper, and it fits right behind the truck. So I'm kind of stoked about the configuration we're working with. So that will be stuff that we'll be able to offer as a package for a TAV spec Mission Overland trailer, whether it's the Summit or the Trail Dog. We can kind of set it up kind of however you need it to be, within reason. So because we want to keep the charm of this trailer being the size that it is and the functionality that it is, like this, without impeding that too much with just hanging too much stuff on it. All right, hopefully you were able to get something out of this kind of a little bit different walk around video, I think, from the others for the Mission Overland Summit trailer. If you've got other questions about these trailers, we'd be happy to jump on the phone with you. Hit us up on our email from our website, tavllc.com, under our contact page. That comes directly to me and our guys up front. And we can really kind of dig into the weeds if you want to about how you would want to spec one of these out. We would be your regional dealer in all of the surrounding states from New Mexico, so it's really not a big deal to get something sent to us or come through to us. We're kind of centralized in the Southwest for the United States, so most of our clients are out of state anyway. So, yeah, we can have this actual trailer at the shop, so you can take a look at it, get in it, look at all the systems, things like that. But hit us up on our website, on our contact page, call us at the shop, and obviously check out Instagram at TAV LLC, and then our YouTube channel as well. And if there's something that you haven't gotten from here, feel free to give us a call, and we'll try and get you taken care of.